Hi guys, this is Albert Pariente-Cohen. Some might know me as Ace, and I'm here to break down how Team Liquid exactly lost against the Golden Guardians in Week 5, Day 2. To start this off, I'm going to go into the draft between Golden Guardians and Team Liquid. Golden Guardians opts to first pick Skarner, pick a side lane threat in Gnar, an early game threat in Varus, and then safe mid and support in Braum and Orianna. Their win condition is actually pretty simple. It's a 1-4 comp where you have Gnar in a side lane, whilst you have the rest in one lane together. Varus can rotate and clear waves, as well as Orianna. Pretty basic linear team fight comp, as well as good split push. Gnar's going to want to TP in on fights. They're going to have some decent objective control. They scale kind of well, but not too well. Like, they can get outscaled by other comps, which Team Liquid kind of goes for, with the Tristana, the Sejuani, and the Corki, as well as the Scion. Now, here are my issues with this composition. One of the strengths of Team Liquid is Impact in the top lane, and they decide to put him on Scion, a losing lane, even though they say, yes, he can stay even, yes, he will still have an impact, but it doesn't matter when you can easily play something else and actually destroy your lane opponent, like last time, where Lolo got manhandled, and Team Liquid win out of their lane phase. I understand if they want to try something else, it's understandable because of their recent losses, but they don't really know how to win outside of winning lane, and it seems like that's because they have coordination issues. Now, the draft isn't the biggest issue in this game, actually. It just makes their win condition a little bit unclear. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into how Golden Guardians and Team Liquid first start with miscoordination plays, right? Team Liquid has priority in bot lane, has a CS lead in bot lane in a lane that they really shouldn't have a CS lead, but against, Matt and Deathly, obviously Doublelift and Ole will have an advantage. Top has no priority at all. Skarner is sighted on wards, and Sejuani is going to path down here because the red buff is spawning soon. Problems with that, though, is that Corki does not have priority either, and he will not be able to rotate first unless he's able to shove out a wave, which I don't know if he actually is able to do. Now let's go forward. As you see, they're pathing in, they use Vision Ward, and Pobelter tries to do something, but he can't because Orianna just shoves in the wave, as you saw in the last clip. If I could show you in person, it can, but I can't. They position, they start trying to take this red buff, but they're thwarted off. What happened? If you can see here, Corki is under his turret, and then you have Orianna roaming down. Ola and the Smithy are like, hey, maybe we can rotate towards Orianna. We'll be able to 3-ban her alone, right? But they can't because, again, you don't have priority on Corki, and Doublelift has not moved up yet, which makes this even harder. And as you see, Orianna goes ults in. Orianna ults, doesn't blow any summoners, no one blows any summoners, and it's really just a tempo loss for Team Liquid. They could just take camps, they could get Smithy on level 6, where he's now level 5 to level 6. They could push for some type of objective control play on this Mountain Drake with their advantage in the bot lane, as well as with their advantage in the jungle EXP. But they don't want to, obviously, because Doublelift needs to recall and take BF Sword by. That's the way the game goes. What happens here? You have Impact and Smithy inside there. Now in the current game state at 12:22, Deathly just died at bot lane engage. Smithy burned his ultimate, Impact burned his ultimate, and Ole burned his flash. What happens now? They're trying to pressure the red buff. They don't get to pressure the red buff that well. They decide back off. Golden Guardians gets it. Now, here's the issue, right? we know where Contracts is, we know where High is, we know where Matt is, and Corky just wants to push this lane. Alright, and now Impact can help him push the lane, or he can decide, screw this, I don't want to do it. And in turn, he doesn't actually do anything. He walks around a little bit, he gets pinged out, nothing happens. Pole Belter tries to push out the wave, greeds for maybe a couple of minions that Impact could have helped him clear already with his E. He would have been able to clear these 3 minions for sure. Get the mid priority, decides not to. He gets flashed on, gives up an XP lead. Remember, he's level 10 to her level 9, and it's pretty important for Corky to be able to stay in lane. He has 134 to 116 CS. He actually needs his Triforce Spike as soon as possible. He needs 2 items as soon as possible, 2.5 items if he can get his Zeal. And maybe they could even pressure Mountain Drake right here because they have 5 members near the Mountain Drake. They know that Gnar does not have Gnar bar because he hasn't been attacking anything. And Varus is coming back from his respawn. This would have been a great time to get this Drake. They even have all this vision right here. But they decide, let's not do this. Let's not push out the wave together. Impact, good job. You didn't do anything, and now he's going to burn flesh. All because he decided not to coordinate with his mid laner. Something that's going to happen again and again throughout this game. Let's look at the current game state. You have Sion versus Gnar in the bot lane. You have Corky pushing out mid lane with package. You have Smithy with ultimate up. And you have Doublelift trying to scale up as well. And we're going to go into what happens here in some pretty big fundamentals that are just completely ignored and then give up leads because of it. Alright? Contracts tries to go for a play. And what happens instead, you have Corky and Sejuani going bot lane to assist in this gang against Lorlo. This is one of the main reasons you pick a Sion, because he's a CC bot. It's very hard to kill, and you can get advantages off it. This is what is going to happen here. Corky really needs kills, but he doesn't actually get it in the end. Sejuani gets it. And you have here, don't forget to pay attention to the top lane. You have Orianna, you have Braum, and you have Varus. They were seen on wards before. They are known to be there. They were spotted by Tristana and the Taric. They are known to be there. They don't know that Varus is backing because they don't have vision on him. But what's going to happen here is pretty dumb, right? You just made a play on the bot lane. You know where Skarner is because he's right here. You see him on the vision ward. And Taric and Tristana decide, let's make a play over here. Let's make a pretty dumb aggressive play, right? What happens? You see she doesn't path here. He paths down instead. He actually cancels his pathing towards mid lane in order to go through this river bush, place that they don't have vision already, and they don't know where Braum, where Varus, or where Orianna are. And this is a very typical play, even if Varus would be there to ultimate and then hopefully get an advantage that way. What's going to happen? They're going to give up Ole, and he's just obviously going to die. What's the problem with this? You have a Rift Herald on the Skarner. You have no CC left to interrupt the Skarner other than the Smithy ultimate, but you're going to run into issues there because he's not in range. He has to walk up, and he decides to ditch the bot lane take in order to just go and move up to stop this tower take. What's going to happen? They actually go for a contact play because they're actually late on this. They have no tempo. They're losing in tempo. And Varus is pushing top lane as well, so he's going to get free farm while his team gets free mid lane. Now, problems here. Remember, Impact has no teleport. Lorlo has teleport. And guess what's going to happen? He's going to TP in, which he does. The Rift Herald gets a second charge onto the second turret. So now you're losing everywhere, right? You're losing everywhere. Because Sion's not going to be able to join this fight. Pole Belter has 0 mana. Doublelift has no ultimate. And now Smithy has no ultimate, has only a flash, and is getting ulted into a bunch of people while he has nothing to do. What's going to happen? Obviously, you guessed it, he's going to die. Doublelift actually gets chucked out pretty hard. He has to recall now. And Smithy dies. What happens? Corky TP's top in order to collect the wave that, because of the tempo loss, they lose. Would this been able to be prevented? Yep. How? If Taric doesn't die, if that engage doesn't happen, Doublelift might be able to clear the top wave. He might be able to rotate mid and Corki goes top. You're able to do a bunch of different plays, but instead they don't remember what their win condition is. They completely ignore it and say, hey, we got to go for a contact play, and they end up losing more tempo and start losing the game in a way that they really shouldn't. They shouldn't be doing this. They know better, but there's a lack of coordination, a lack of understanding their own win condition on this comp, which is just scale. It's literally don't give up shit and scale. It's pretty bad. It's pointless to ignore the RTP. All right, and like let's go to this next fight. This is a pretty important fight for the game. The way the state is. Let's look at this. Right, you have Sion in the bot lane with Gnar. You have Corki in mid lane alongside the other teammates from Team Liquid moving in, and they see Varus. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he's cleaning minion waves here. Yeah, he gets seen there. What happens? Corki gets sighted. They don't know where the rest of the bot lane is. They decide, let's go for a contact play. I want you to note something. Okay? Look at the ultimates used and available, and look at Sion. Right? Lorelo does not have TP yet, so this is the perfect time. If you want to go in, it's now. You go in right now. Right? Orianna blows heal right away. They're trying to burst her very quickly. Aren't able to do so. Who is in range? If you close this HUD right here, you'd actually be able to see that Sion is right there. He's right there. And Hai has no flash, actually. If they had the timing perfectly, they would know that he cannot escape this. He cannot escape, meaning that they lose their mid laner, and this fight is completely over. It is not the Golden Guardians fight to win. What happens? Impact backs off. And what does he do? He walks back in. And guess what? Now you have Taric. No ultimate anymore. He's getting pulled in. The bot lane is just, you know, they're trying to kill Matt, but it's pretty hard. And guess what? Impact decides, I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to go in. But he uses ultimate out. Ole loses his life. And guess what? You're going to give up more pressure on the map. You're going to give up your scaling. You're going to give up tempo. This is a fight that you won. You won if you had 5 members, but you only had 4 because one of them AFK. And at this point, you're almost max items on everybody. Definitely never sold his Doran's blade. Probably can't buy another item yet. Most people are sitting on 5 items, except for Orianna somehow. They're just sitting on 3.5. Team Liquid goes for a contact play. They go on to the Braum. Not the worst pick in the planet because, you know, once he's dead, there isn't that much to protect them. But I want you to pay attention to something here. He's about to Gnar. And he has TP. And he has full Gnar bar. What's going to happen? Obviously, you're going to get shit on. Completely. The Taric ultimate only does Ole a saving grace and saves him, you know, from just getting insta-gibbed. Now, here's the issue. Look at where Doublelift is compared to the enemy team, and then you have to understand that there's a TP right here. The call should be, the second he TPs in, kick his ass right away, because you have a Sejuani, you have a Sion. You need to move them in. Pobelter needs to move back. He doesn't need to do damage to Hai, and definitely Hai has no ultimate. He doesn't have as much damage. Definitely has no ultimate. He just used it, and guess what? They have to move out of the way ASAP, or else they're just gonna get Nard and killed, which is what happens. They decide. Smithy's like, okay, I can stun them up. We can maybe get their carries, but it's not possible because of the flash from Deathly. Doublelift doesn't do a bad job. His positioning isn't terrible. But the problem is that you have to cover your back line here. Otherwise, Pobelter gets completely dumped on by Lorelo 1v1. If Pobelter lives, I'm sure this fight's different. But guess what? It's not possible. Hai flashes in, gets QW, and Doublelift is about to suicide. You'll see in a second. Now, this would be preventable if they didn't tunnel vision onto the back line. Now, usually you want to get to the back line, but in this composition, you have two primary tanks. You don't need to worry that much because you have a very beefy front line, one with Gargoyle's Thorn Plate as well. Move on to the Gnar. You kill the Gnar because he has only one tank item for each, and you are able to actually kill him pretty well with the double lift Last Whisper Lord Dominic's. Doesn't happen. This is their time to win. And then, as you know, it goes on Baron, and the fights go on and on and on. Like, doesn't really matter. But that's actually how it goes. And my biggest issue with this is if you look at like Impact's like games, right? They ban a lot of Tom Kench, Camille. Okay, I get it. Impact doesn't want to play that much Camille. Problem is, Impact does 26% of the damage on his team overall. Now, Jungle's a tank role for Team Liquid. Okay. So Impact needs to do more damage. As you saw, there were slivers of health on a lot of Golden Guardians. But he's playing Scion, which now he has a 0% win rate on. He could have played Gnar. He's a pretty good Gnar. He has very veteran Gnar. Could have played GP. Didn't need to ban it. But they did. Could have played Vladimir. Could have played Camille, but I don't know if they want to leave it open against Golden Guardians. There are a lot of issues with their pick that game. But this is a winnable game. They decided not to, and that's how it goes. What they need to work on is their coordination, their pick ban, and then their win conditions. Let it go, make my body go, make our bodies high.